guys, T2RX6 here, back for a knockoff Transformers review, and today we're going to take a look at the knockoff oversized Tankor or Octane, whatever you feel like calling him. Yeah, so if you're like me, you probably got these two guys relatively recently, or you're on the hunt for them, and you stuck them on a shelf and you noticed just how much smaller your Tankor slash Octane is compared to these guys. And that's a little bit disappointing that the old triple changers are nowhere near the same size as these new guys here. So yeah, you start trolling the internet and you're looking at knockoffs, and all of a sudden a giant oversized knockoff Octane appears. And yeah, that's what happened to me. I knew I had to buy this guy. Even if his plastic was going to be kind of crappy, I knew I had to have him because, I mean, look at this. He's awesome sized. Here's the old one, just kind of to compare it. So you can see just how enormous he actually is in his knockoff form here. Huge. Now the plastic quality here, I would say it's a little bit better than, you know, the cheap knockoffs. It's certainly not super duper high quality, but it's really not that bad. It actually does feel fairly good. This one doesn't really want to sit on his tires and roll, but I really don't care too much about that. It might be able to fix it if I kind of adjust everything in the back here a little bit more. I have a feeling a couple of my ball joints might be just a little bit off here and things aren't quite working out right, but I don't really care. And he sits on his propellers because I'm afraid to push him up anymore. The person I got this from, this propeller here was actually broken and they glued it back together, and you couldn't get them in the truck mode because of how the propellers were glued into position, so I actually broke every one of them off and re-glued them in a different position just so I could put him in his truck mode. So not really too concerned that he can't actually roll on the ground. So as you can see, he still does have his guns, and this stuff's just not holding in very well right now. There, oh, thought we had it, but whatever. So he still has his guns, two of them, one on each side here, and they're actually too big to peg in. Well, actually on this side there is no peg hole. You do have the hole on the top, but it doesn't peg in or anything, and it's too small to fit the other side. Well, you can get the very bottom tiny bit of the gun in if you wanted to do that, but it kind of looks silly because you can't do anything with the gun on the other side. It's not like there's a hole to receive the other half to make the smokestacks. So your guns kind of have to sit somewhere, and I find in the back is just the easiest place to put it. So he still does have his airplane mode. We'll just pop this off, and this shield is big and unwieldy, and even worse on the knockoff. And the plastic, boy, that's really dirty inside there. I don't know if it was made this way or if just the person who had it stored somewhere weird. I'm not sure. Anyway, so yeah, you take him to airplane mode. You're gonna do the same thing you did with the regular size one, of course, and it's gonna involve flipping this, flipping that, and kind of pegging the two halves of the airplane together. And let's check the top, and you can already see that it's going to be a little bit of a funky airplane because the window is much different than the other version, but hey, that's okay. Flip these two wing assemblies on down, take this, and actually we'll do this because I don't want to mess anything up with the wings here, and we'll fold this whole assembly down like so. We'll take his legs and we'll rotate them around like this, and then we'll flip out the back of the truck so it's facing down, and we'll just peg everything in together like that, and we'll flip these little wings down, which will fill in those little gaps here, and then we will just take these and flip them on down like that. And then finally you take this and you just kind of plug it back into position like this, and this doesn't sit quite on there quite as well as it does on the real one, but there you go. You've got a much larger plane. Here's the Classics one, just to compare sizes here. And let's actually get a good size comparison here. Look how much bigger that is. That is just fantastic. I really find myself liking this oversized knockoff. It's a shame it's not in better condition, but that's okay. I'm perfectly fine. And you can see he is a super soldier. I guess this is Captain America's plane. I don't know. But yeah, it's really not bad, and especially when you take it and you compare it alongside things like Springer here, again, for another size comparison. Let's put him against this back wall. I mean, look how much bigger that is. That is fantastic. Let's bring in the original Octane again. It's huge. I love it. I love it. I love knockoffs that don't feel super duper cheap and feel like they serve some kind of purpose on my shelf. Yeah, I really like this guy. It's a shame I couldn't tell you guys where you can get him. Alright, so let's actually get this guy to his robot mode here. Again, we'll take off his big shield and we'll just put that to the side there. And we'll take off his guns here, like so. And there are a couple places that you can peg these things in, so you do have your options. And let's just get these out of the way just for now. And we're going to take this, we'll split the front of the plane and just kind of bring this down like so. And disconnect these pieces and bring them all the way around. And this is one place where they kind of cheaped out. The bottom piece of this does not twist, so his fists are sideways, but I don't know, it's such a little complaint comparatively. I mean, he's just so awesome for his huge size. It's hard to complain about the missing wrist. Whoop, pop that right off the ball joint there. But that's okay, made my life easier. So I personally like to have mine like this. I don't know how you guys like your Octane or whatever on the shelf, but this is mine, so we're doing it my way. Take these, kind of fold them up forward, bring his giant head out like that, and fold it on in. And we can kind of figure out what we're going to do with these back here. And these airplane pieces aren't on a interconnected gearing this time, so you kind of can move them freely at will however you want. So we'll come down to his legs here, we'll flip the pieces of plane out. Now there's no piece here like the other Octane that flips out to make the front foot, so it is a tiny bit weird. And you take this and we'll extend that out. Actually, I think, to be honest, how they want it to work on this one, and maybe I've just been transforming my regular Octane wrong, but you can see that the screws are on the outside here and you have the wheels in the front. But if you flip it like this, then you kind of have the feet here being made up by the front of the truck, even though it really still does look totally weird, but his knee goes that way. I'm gonna have to look at my other Octane. I can't remember if that's how it works or not. But there you go. We have a very, very tall Octane here. A bit funky colors. I've toyed with the idea of painting him to make a match, but I kind of like him like this. And he can, if you want, hold his gun in his super tiny peg holes there, but he looks kind of weird with them. You can do the combined gun thing if you really want. We have to put it in his sideways facing hand. Looks better, I guess, with the double. And he can still hold his shield if you really want to. Don't make a liar out of me. This one is tough to peg in. The hole for the hand is a little bit too small and the peg is a little too big. I'm not going to bother trying to force it in. I don't want to break anything. But he can do it. And it still does that whole opening gimmick thing, like so. But I don't know, I find the shield pieces not up my taste for this guy. So let's actually bring in Octane here, and let's see if I've been transforming him the wrong way this whole time. Yes, I have. We flip him around like this by the looks of it, and that makes his knee joints better. That makes pretty much everything better. So, I learned something new today. I think in my old review, I reviewed this guy, and I'm pretty sure I had his legs backwards. Unless I'm wrong and this is just not front, but I don't know, his legs are kind of strange. But there is your size difference here. So let's actually bring in our Blitzwing here. There we go. And I am going to be posting a video. Someone asked, I'm sorry I can't remember your name, but they wanted to know the modification to take the spring out of the nose cone so his head doesn't spring up. As you can see, I can push it down and it stays like that. Someone wanted to know how you remove the spring from the nose cone, so I'm going to post a video of that too. I knocked that out while I was transforming him for the shot here. And there's Springer. So you can see that Octane is huge comparatively. And for someone who has a jumbo jet and a tanker truck for alt modes, he really should be huge. And he just looks way better standing next to these guys than the little guy right here. So this is T2RX6. I hope you guys enjoyed the review. And as always, I'll see you next week.